Oh, cool. In that case, good evening. Hello, everybody. How much time do we have today for this session?
I think as much as you want, but I don't think
Okay,
you're gonna
so
take more than 2 hours.
as much as you can take. Okay, then. Great. So I see there's a couple of you, and we can talk about during the time. We don't have to do it just one way. So feel free to interrupt me, even if this is a trip report. So it's not very technical in this case, but if you have any questions, if you want to know more, then just tell me. For the beginning, I have just a few photos from the start of the trip. So uh, you can see the Prague airport. You can see what you can have at the Prague airport if your plane is several hours late and you have to wait for it. And the weather was pretty good, as you see. So not only at the airport, but also from the airplane. I have a few more photos that I did not include, but this one was pretty clear, pretty clear shot of Tilos Island. I have Kos and other as well. So if you are interested later, you can see it. And then basically, let's go closer and closer. When I arrived to Israel, I thought it was Tel Aviv, but actually it's Netanya. So it's a city in the neighborhood. Uh, this is Peduel, which is not known that I saw from the airplane. I have had no idea what it is at the time, but I found out just today in order to show you. It's one of the Jewish settlements in Palestine that is illegal according to the international law and so on. So you have some feeling about the country. And next, let's go for the conference itself. So there's a few photos from the conference, so you can get some feelings. Look at the Pac-Man rule, which is really something that worked there. So I did not know almost anybody most of the time until I met Victor, someone from the group here. So I had to get around and know people. It was pretty easy. The food was okay as well. You see Bjarne here and other people, Eran and more. And let's look at some information from the actual talks. At the beginning, there was not Bjarne yet. This is not a part of the conference proper, but before the conference there was one day where there was a choice originally from four different talks. Finally, or four different workshops. Finally, it was three of them. So I chose the one with Amir. It was I would say it was huge because let's just look at the topics that we went through during the day. I'm not going to speak about all of them. I just want to give you the feeling of how many things Amir wanted to speak about during the day. It was a huge thing. When I do C++ training, these topics are split into, I don't know, 15 days or 20 days of workshops, whatever. And for me, this was pretty good because it was quick and many topics mentioned. One of the things that was really going through the whole conference was the topic of why C++, what the future does C++ have, how does it relate to like other languages that are available at the moment. So one thing that Amer said, and then later others spoke about, was that the biggest strength This is his words, or main strength of C++ is in supporting legacy code, or is in supporting the huge amount of code that is already written, and continuing with the projects that have already started. This is something I don't know if everybody here would concur with. Maybe tell me if you think that C++ is more about modern stuff, new projects and stuff like that. Up to you. But this is one of the things that were mentioned several times during the whole conference. That the main strengths, or one of the strengths, depending on the speaker, is in the existing code, not in the new projects specifically. One of the topics of the C++ conference that was not official but was mentioned everywhere was the Rust programming language, because this is the most visible competition, or the most visible alternative to C++. And again, it's pretty much interesting, because if you have a C++ conference and another language becomes one of the main topics, then that's something to think about at the least. Of course, there were many things mentioned during the day. Amir knows lots of other people and their sources, their talks. So he mentioned Vittorio Romeo, Fred Brooks, Inbal Levy. Two of these people were present at the conference as well. So it was pretty big. It was a good time to meet these people. And basically, the whole day was about going through all the topics of the C++ safety. As I said, I will not go into all the points here, but I will later share the slides with you, so you can go through it and ask later, because this could get too long otherwise, and you could get bored. So let's just look at like the structure of Amir's workshop. It was sort of practical. There wasn't many opportunities to code like by ourselves, because as I said, the topics were many, and the time was just one day. So it was all about C++ tools to ensure safety, like those in the language itself, tools that you run on your code, so you can run analyzers, you can use sanitizers for the running code. You can do all sorts of testing and stuff to keep the code good. At the same time, you can use all sorts of like solid principles, Django for design patterns, all this old stuff to find out the ways to structure your code to make it well testable and usable and flexible and so on. Yeah, I will leave it up to you to get back to any of these and ask at any time. So feel free to interrupt me. Otherwise, I'm going forward to Bjarne. I had to make this photo because this is something that I don't have yet, like a photo of someone who created languages in at the time I was not born yet. So that was something for me, but for you, Bjarne had an entering talk, keynote that was also about writing C++ code that would be safe. So he mentioned that by writing C++ code, many people can do a lot of harm, because the code is used in very sensitive environments, be it transportation, be it health, whatever you can think of. And at the same time, Bjarne mentioned the NSA. I mean, also did this. I didn't mention it. that they basically, at some point of time, they said that you should not write sensitive code in C/C++. You can imagine that Bjarne was joking about the slash and the C/C++ term, whatever, because this is something we're not supposed to use at all, because it suggests that there is one language, which isn't true. But at the same time, basically, there is some force to push C++ out of the way when you write in sensitive environments, and to replace C++ with safer languages. And you see on the screenshot or on the photo that C#, Go, Java, Ruby, and Swift were mentioned. But usually nowadays you hear Rust mentioned. Bjarne was trying to mostly avoid the name, but at the same time about new and shiny alternatives, which is pretty clear that Rust must be the most prominent one of it. And he explicitly said that he doesn't want a new language like for him. And there will be very, very many people who feel the same. Who want to stick with the C++ for various reasons. So if you have any reasons of your own to use C++ and not switch anywhere else, then please speak up.
I don't want to learn a new language. I spent all these years learning C++ for nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, and also, I don't know if they mentioned this, and I read it in some blog recently, I think Sandor's blog, that actually majority of the vulnerabilities are in C code, not in C++, and actually Java has more vulnerability, well, Java code has more vulnerabilities than C++. So this whole C/C++ thing definitely needs to go. And I don't mean Go as a programming language, as in like this here. Yeah, that was my piece.
Actually, I
Ah,
think
think so.
you should separate C and C++. It's two totally different worlds. Like,
Yeah.
especially today's C++.
Okay, thank you. Cool. Yeah, I just want to react. Yeah, basically C and C++ are often used together with the same tool chains and so on. But yes, it is wrong from NSA in such an important statement to use this combination in this way, because the languages are different, and they should be specific, and they should explain why and what they expect to happen when C++ is not used like for a new project or something, because nobody, I guess, expects projects to switch in the middle. So it depends. Basically, yeah, Bjarne said that he doesn't want a new language. That means that he personally wants to continue working on C++, improving C++, looking out for what can be done, what can be improved. I guess given that he's the creator, he's very heavy on like I don't know many other people who actually like C++. Maybe just raise your hand if you like C++. Okay, cool. Yeah, this happened to me with C recently. I said that nobody would like C alone, and this happened the same. Cool. Anyway, one of the things that are interesting. This is not related to Bjarne directly. This was, I think, David. He said that so many people at the top of the C++ world, like not just the committees, but visible users and speakers, that really don't know that much about other languages and don't know that much about new development. So maybe this is something we should talk about in the next meetups. And okay, Bjarne also mentioned Ada and the Patriot system because we were in Tel Aviv, and he said that recently there was some accident that basically the Patriot was just shooting rockets that weren't there, so that's something that really gives you a sense of why safety is important, because this is pretty big. If you shoot from Patriot for no reason, then that's maybe something that shouldn't happen. And one thing I was really curious about is that Bjarne said that C++ was actually designed to evolve, designed to be extensible. I never actually heard anyone like explain the details, even though I heard a few previous talks by Bjarne and others. So maybe this is also a good topic for one of the next meetups. So if you're interested in this, so maybe someone could get in and explain this this part. And let's yeah, Victor.
For that one, I recommend to Google a talk by Alexander Stepanov from 2001 or 2002 that he gave at Adobe Systems, where he talks about the evolution and the design of the standard library to be extensible. And it's a very good talk on the topic of evolving the language. So
Okay.
Google Alexander Stepanov at Adobe. It's just one recording on YouTube.
Yeah, I think I see it. Thank you. Cool. So let's continue. It was not just Bjarne. We had other people talking. This is actually from the evening before the conference, and I think there was a change in the program that's not even online. So you might be a bit confused if you look at the program and search for the people in the talks. There was some details. There were some details on instruction level parallelism, which is something that for me is really magic. Yeah, I can tell you which topics are something that I can speak more about, but this one is something where I really sit and listen, and it's amazing to see how things work, from like fetching the instruction or two instructions at the same time here, using the CPU hardware, waiting for when it can be used, and pipelining in a way that is the best or the most efficient possible. So this was interesting. Also, there were like,
Hello.
what's going on?
I think that was
Can you go back? Yeah, that's David Sankom, not Ivica.
That's David. Okay, I
That's
can
David
distinguish
Sankom.
them. I will fix it after the talk. Write it down. Yeah, this is a blunder because I even talked to David, and I can see who's who. So I will just write down.
The screenshot is from the day before the conference, the
Yeah,
breakfast.
from the evening before.
Yeah. So that's David Sankom, and it was a hilarious talk, but it wasn't the instruction level parallelism. That happened the next day.
Okay, but this guy was actually talking about it, so feel free to correct me.
He mentioned
What was this
instruction
one
level
about?
parallelism. He mentioned instruction level parallelism, but that was not the main topic of this.
Okay.
So Ivica's talk was the next day.
The next day. Yeah, I saw part of it. Yeah. So
And
okay.
it was very good indeed.
Yeah. Cool. So I mix the two things together, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good to have you here to fix it. I hope I have all the other names correct. This one was an exception. Elazar was talking about undefined behavior, and especially the cases where you wouldn't expect it to bite you, like times when for the first time looking at the code, you might not possibly know that in this case the compiler would assume something. So especially there were a few cases of like calling something like mem copy or string and copy, whatever. These cases, of course, heavily depend on the choice of the compiler and on the choice of the compiler configuration. But at the same time, one of the messages, or actually maybe it was supposed the main message of the talk, and again, you are welcome to dispute it now or next time, is that basically all projects, as he said, or I guess all bigger projects or something, make some assumptions, or the programmers make some assumptions that are not part of the standard. So if you think you work on projects where the standard is used strictly and no other assumptions are made, then I think this is a big topic to talk about. Yeah. So I'll leave it for later. Just note it down if you have anything about this topic. I think one of the next times would be pretty cool. Just to get back to what he was talking about, there were some ideas when something is assumed not to be null, something is uninitialized, and you might assume that an uninitialized variable have some random value, but at the same time, the result in the code is actually that it has different values in different at different times. So the compiler says, okay, it's uninitialized, it's undefined, whatever. I can assume once that it's true, the next time that it's false, once that it's 3, the next time that it's 6, and go on. So this is like the classic topic in C++ that we can talk about for days and months, I guess. We had a pretty nice game in the evening. You can see that in like quickly reading the code and getting the result. I was very lame, so I did not get anything in time. There were some folks that were really good in these puzzles. It's upside down intentionally. It's just one of the puzzles in the quiz. So we had some fun. We had some lightning talks in the evening. So we had basically different topics, short talks, very interesting sometimes, crazy even at times, ASCII artwork and such stuff that don't fit so much in the serious part of the conference. This was a pretty good evening with some food and stuff like that. And the next day. There were a few other talks that I attended. I didn't look much into the other talks that I wasn't present in. So basically, Sebastian was talking about many different safety measures when using QR code. So things that were basically going through the whole conference in general. Sebastian went into some of the details, and maybe one thing I would like to ask because he mentioned that it's good to be able to read assembly to some level in order to make in order to understand what's in the output of the compiler. So who of you can read a bit of assembly?
What architecture?
Any architecture. It's up to you. Okay, so I guess most of you raised your hand at some point of time. Yeah, yeah, I'm really interested in these things. How much the lot of you use and know and do, and which things you think are not so important. So, yeah. Another idea that I think went through the whole conference and was also stressed in Sebastian's talk is to design things like classes, whatever, to be easy to use the right way and hard to use the wrong way. In this case, I think C++ is a bit of a problem here because it's pretty simple to use it the wrong way. I think there's no dispute about this. So let's just see what can be done in C++ to at least design the interfaces in a way that the user of the libraries will use them correctly, and the users that make modifications to the projects and so on. Okay. One of the people that I really liked to meet was Vittorio. Vittorio's topic was not one of the things that I came for. So the slowness of compilation time and the ways to improve it. It was very good. The talk was very good. It was very interesting, but at the same time, it's up to you if this is your topic or not. But there were people from, I think it was Incredible. I don't know these tools because I'm not involved in big C++ projects. So if you have anything about it, we can talk later, whatever. At the same time, this was just before the lunch, and the first day I went to lunch with some locals, not the speakers. So I enjoyed lunch in the center. There was a lunch at the conference, but it was pretty simple and very crowded. So most of the days I went out. The second day I just went with Vittorio, and we found some good place. So we had a long talk about Sicily and C++ and Rust, of course, because he's into Rust as well. So maybe if you want to go next time to Core C++, you will meet people directly, and you won't have to listen to me talking about them here. So basically, one of the biggest things that I would like to say in this report is just to come next time. Yeah, just to come next time, talk to the people directly. There was Bryce, who's really into crazy stuff. I was trying to follow the details. I understood some of the reflection and experimental stuff. This is not C++, but this is something that C++ might have in the future. There were some details that nowadays, if you wanted to try this in another language, you can do a lot in languages, in dynamic languages like Python. You can just go to classes and look what they contain, modify it, and whatever. You can do quite some things nowadays with macros in Rust because they let you examine the whole subtree of the abstract syntax tree and modify it, whatever. And this is what could be done with reflection in C++ and with the possibility to just look into how you define your structures or classes and either derive some code from it or make some modifications and so on. There was a previous talk that I did not include here in the slides by Daisy, and I forgot the other name. If you could remind me, anyone. This was pretty interesting. It was like a closing keynote, and it was about taking the interfaces and all these architecture and design talks to the theoretical level. to talk about sameness and similarity, especially sameness in general, like if two things have the same interface, so they can be interchangeable. If you use dynamic polymorphism, they can be interchanged at runtime. But at the same time, you can have code that is used for multiple different implementations so that you don't have to write it multiple times. You can use the classic ways using inheritance, where you inherit code and call it, but at the same time you have these techniques like CRTP and C++, where you use templates to basically reverse the logic and be able to add features and make use of the flexibility of the C++ templating system to achieve different ways to add some common code to a few classes and stuff like that. So basically, there was some details on duck typing, like templates in C++ are not fully type checked, even if you use concepts. Even then, you basically check that you get the types that have certain properties, but at the same time, your functions are in C++ aren't checked for actually using just what the concepts provide. So this is something that can be discussed if you're interested in future development, if you're interested in comparison to other languages, and at the same time the reflection that Bryce took in a very practical way with exact syntax example. Daisy was also talking about it in the theoretical part. So this is some of the talks from the conference. I don't know if Victor has something to mention other than what was here. Did you find something really interesting?
So I attended some of the talks that you attended, but um, I attended others as well. So I have a different different experience there.
Sure. Is there something that you would like to say here right now?
So trying to think back of talks that I liked. So I liked Ivica's talk on instruction level parallelism. That was a very informative one. I like David Sankel's talk from the last day. I believe it was the last day on specifying behavior and semantics in the language. I liked Daisy's closing keynote as well on implementation sameness. So that was a very good one as that I liked. What else? I enjoyed Marshall Klau's presentation on testing and using tooling. So all around good practices around building more robust code. I think it was the second day. I don't remember the name of the talk. Marshall Klau's talk. That was nice too. And Amir's presentation was fun. The one with where he explored Stack Overflow questions and his experience in documenting and writing answers that were rejected. So that was on the fun side of things, not as informative as more fun. Yeah. So this is what I'm remembering now.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, I love when you improve what I can say here, because I'm not so much used to giving this type of reports. I'll show you. Basically, my background is that from the year 2020, I started preparing like training courses for C++. I used C++ in the past, but I didn't use it on a daily basis in the past few years. So I prepare it like from a neutral language perspective. So in this case, it might be interesting even for you if this makes any sense for you, because probably most of you have like more everyday experience than I have. At the same time, I guess, and what I know from my customers, because it's been like 2 years of trainings where we did a lot. So even from experience of my customers, that the knowledge of like the depth, the whole depth and the whole width of C++ is not available to most of the programmers. They often, if I have like a group of 10 or 12 people, there's just one who knows about some of the advanced stuff. There's often one or two who know things like state variant. So when I talk to some of the interested people from abroad, they claim that everybody's using modern C++, everybody's using all of these tools, and at the same time, when I talk to people from the industry, this doesn't seem to be the case. So for me, I draw a lot of experience from the actual attendees and customers, and at the same time, going to Tel Aviv and attending this 2-day conference, the day with Amir, and the other day that I will talk about for a while after. This was some source of like a lot of practical examples, lot of practical stuff that I can use directly and that I can use to help the customers. And at the same time, there was quite a big amount of theory, quite a big amount of things that are more mathematical than everyday coding, which is something I really love and something I enjoy. So for me, like getting a few days and doing all of this and nothing else at that time, that was a pretty good experience. And at the same time, it was in Israel, which is a country that I never visited before, and that people hear a lot about and read a lot about and stuff. So let me just finish with the last two items that were not part of the proper conference, but there are two additional talks or two additional workshops, half day each, so they fit in the day just after the conference. They were interesting. Both were about GPU computing. Tamer talked about the details of the SQL compiler, which is basically, I'm talking about something I know from the talk. Yeah, I had I had no prior experience with that. But if you at the same level, in this case, the SQL compiler can provide you with code that can be run on CPU and different GPUs through different frameworks. And at the same time, this code is written in C++ with some additional pragmas to mark things that should be run in parallel and that can be run in parallel and stuff like that. So you can basically program in something like C++ 17 mostly. You don't have to learn any special languages. You just learn a bit about how to use the framework, and then you can basically create code that can be run on the target computer, because you won't be able to decide many often whether the code will be run on GPU or CPU, because you don't know what will be available. But you can make a few choices, and you can use the framework to choose wisely, and then basically send the code whenever you need to send it. So the code is open to be run on GPU and CPU. are in different CPUs, different GPUs. And you can look at these topics if you're interested. For me, this was really something new. At the same time, the other talk by Tomergal was about some of the deep details about the GPUs, how they work, how code is run on them, scheduling of the code, some details on like state-of-the-art hardware that is available from NVIDIA, Mellanox, and more, or actually Mellanox acquired by NVIDIA, probably for this very purpose. So these were like great bonuses for me, even if I'm not in this field. And in total, those 4 days were really exciting. Yeah. So again, next time, I guess if some of you who weren't there might want to consider the visit, this is a great opportunity, and I guess other big C++ conferences as well. But this one for me, I didn't attend any of the other ones, so this one for me was just pure magic. I at the end I only have like a few photos to share, so you can see that if you go to Israel, that there are many places where you can eat pretty well. With Aaron, one of the organizers of the conference, I I was part of like the current events in Israel, which are not altogether always good. So this is another reason to go to Israel, because if things go worse over the time, then the sooner you get there, the more you will see. Because I actually saw places in Israel and Palestine. I was in Bethlehem. I was in Jericho, Qumran, Dead Sea. I was at the Palestinian part of the Dead Sea, and bottom left is back to the proper Israeli land. This is Echo in the evening, which is also pretty nice. But I guess Echo will be easy all the time. But you never know what will change in the country. And for me, the traveling through the Palestinian territories was something that is really interesting, because of the people, because of the places. Like Jericho was one of the places that I will always want to visit. So that's it from me.
Cool, thanks.
Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it, despite I'm not really used to this type of talk. So I hope I brought you something from Israel, which is basically why I went there, to bring things here, bring things. Some of you know a lot, but many people that I meet here have no idea. Some of my customers don't speak much of English, so they even cannot attend conferences like this in a good way. They can't even understand well the videos if they are available. So thank you very much, and hope I did not bore you to death.
Thank you.
Can you go back to the beginning? I think it was slide about security.
Which one it was?
I think it was first or second one.
From Amir's workshop.
Amir. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you want to just talk modern C++ safety?
Amir just mentioned Vittorio's modern C++ safety, but I don't know about it.
It's a book he co-authored with Alistair Meredith and one more Bloomberg guy. It's called Modern C. No.
There is another book, Embracing
Embracing C++ Safety.
Yes.
That's the one.
Yeah, yeah. So
They did it during the pandemic.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
And it's a C++ 14 book, by the way. It's at 14
Huh.
level. Because the book describes best practices from their experience, like from years of experience using those features at Bloomberg. And they're in the process of writing the follow-up, which would be on C++ 17. And the reason why they're lagging behind is because they want to do best practices, like proven things that work on their code base, not just talk about things that they didn't try for real. So that's why it's lagging behind. So that book is C++ 14.
Yeah, the embracing C++ safety, yeah, because like I think one of the worst things you can do
And Lakos, John Lakos.
when creating a title for a book is naming it modern.
Modern is a non-ever-changing term.
Yeah, because we have Alexandrescu's book, Modern C++.
20 years ago.
Yeah, so like
20,
the book is
25 maybe.
no, it's 21. I think it's 2001.
22.
Or something like that. But it's called Modern and it's 20 years old and it's far from modern. It's still a great book.
Uh-huh.
C++ in the 20s and 100 years ago it will be actually very obsolete. And they will be painting like historical cars on the book and so on to connect to our era.
Yeah, also, do you remember what is this principle of least astonishment?
Please speak up a bit.
Do you remember what is this principle of least astonishment?
Principle of least astonishment was one of the things that Amir mentioned during the day, and it's basically the way you design things to not be surprising, especially if it's like a library, and that library is used by other people, and that library isn't. It has to handle all the cases. I think there was an example about absolute value, because when you make absolute value from a signed integer, then you have one value, like the minimum assigned integer value of that size, which cannot be in its absolute value represented by the same type. So if the same type is the result type, then you have to return something. So there were like many examples in this part of the workshop, but basically the principle of least astonishment is to give the user, in this case, mostly meaning the programmer, the tools that behave in some reasonable and predictable way.
And actually, I think two more tools on this. So this parallel code safety and this actor model single data owner.
Yeah. Basically, at the end of the workshop, the end was pretty quick because Samer wanted to do all of these topics. So the end of the workshop was dedicated to parallel code safety, and one of the proposed solutions to consider was the actor model, where basically there is one thread that owns the data. Like, of course, all threads have their own data, but if there's something that's shared among everybody, then there's one thread that owns the data, and you have basically two options. You can give other threads, you can synchronize with other threads and give them access to the data through pointers, basically. But sometimes it is affordable, meaning still good enough for performance, and much easier to just provide some routines that you can call via some communication via some queue that will manipulate the data. So in that case, the owner of the data will not give you references to the data, but will give you copies of individual things that you request and will make modifications for you and stuff like that. So that was, I think, the main point Amir wanted to make.
Maybe I would like to share this Gravity build tool was mentioned in the middle of the presentation, and I have some experience with it, working on two different projects, two different companies, and for one of them, the setup was the following: every developer has its own desktop, and if we were working remotely, we were connecting to the desktop. So there was a set of desktops, and Incredible tool can parallelize compilation in the big project, big library, and all those desktops were sharing part of their cores with the others, so the compilation was running very fast. So it was helpful. The only problem was linking, which was not, it was not able to be parallelized. This was working very well, and on the other hand, in another setup, another company, most developers working on laptops, most of them working from home. It's not that useful because you can't share the power of the computers because you are not located on the good network. So if you are within the good office, good connections, it works. If it's too separated, it doesn't work in general. So there are goods and bads for this tool, and definitely it is useful if there is a good setup.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know if it was Vittoria who talked about this, or yeah, or if I talked to yeah, I actually talked to some other people about the same thing just out of curiosity, because this is not something that I need to solve right now. But I was just curious because I saw a few projects and products at the conference that I never heard about before. So yeah, I asked about these things as well. In the past I used the classic dist CC for just remote compilation. I don't remember if there were some issues like with C++ and stuff like that. I think it worked pretty well. So I was interested in how these projects or even commercial products are better and how they are different, and I don't get any of the details now.
Another thing, this talk was also on HCU and it's available on YouTube. It's an hour and 45.
Okay, thanks.
But it's a very good one. I've seen the version at ACC or not. Yeah. It's faster. Same content.
Yeah, I don't know. Because on SCU he took hour and 40 something
So
minutes and didn't
that's
finish.
the standard time slot at ACC is 90 minutes.
He went over there. And he still sticks on. But it's actually very good because like very practical examples and like exact
And
methods to use.
and tuning.
Well, I guess you can. You work on tooling.
You can probably hear my voice in that recording.
Yeah, you corrected him a couple of times. I remember that. Let's see where. ECCU is also in
Bristol. In Bristol. Yeah. It's a very nice conference. Much bigger than ++ on scene, and long tradition. I think ACCU is almost 10 years old. It started as a professional programming organization, and ACCU still is a user group spread out through multiple locations in UK. And even there's an ACCU group in the Bay Area. So it's an organization, you can get affiliated, you can start an ACCU organization here. And they have 3 magazines that they ship monthly or every 2 months. Overload, ACCU, and CDU. So they have their user group meetings and they have the conference. They've been running the conference for I think 20 years now. Started in Oxford, then London for a bit, and for many years they've been in Bristol. It's a very, very good one. Very high quality. I think it's the biggest in UK for C++.
Maybe the biggest.
And also has some it's not C++ exclusive, has some Go talks, usually some C talks as well. So it's a systems programming conference. Not just C++.
There is actually a talk that's, I think, called this generic talk.
Yeah, by Tom Davis.
I was talking about it with Ivan Kukic, and he said that it's very asocial because you have those rooms where the presentations are in the hallway and like over hanging out with people.
No, there's a long hallway in front of the conference rooms, and this is where they serve like buffet and drinks and everything. So there's space to socialize. It's I would say it's okay. Okay.
Maybe it's
Yeah, it's at the Marriott City Center. It's fairly old hotel, but it has nice conference rooms, like old style conference rooms. Fancy, yeah. It's nice. I recommend it.
Well, I think we are done with the like official part. But you can stay online and just chat.
Yeah, okay, I think I'll leave this up to you because the sound is mostly okay, but not enough for me to concentrate for a long time. So I guess I leave this up to you, and possibly we'll meet some other time.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Bye.
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 Thank you and bye.